I'm Emily Hayes, senior writer with Scrip and with the Pink Sheet. I'm here at the Biotech Showcase in San Francisco, and I'm here with the CEO of Cirius Therapeutics. His name is Bob Baltera, and he's going to tell us about his lead candidate for NASH. Hi, Bob.
Good afternoon.
So, can you tell us about how your candidate fits into such a crowded development space?
Absolutely. So NASH is a very complicated disease. It's very complicated metabolically. And as you mentioned, there's a lot of different companies chasing different targets in the disease setting. Cirius is somewhat unique in the sense that we're attacking the disease in upstream at the core of the disease, which is overnutrition, overeating, which is the primary cause of the disease. So overnutrition, overeating results in sort of metabolic breakdown, if you will, in the cell, resulting in fat deposits in the liver, increased inflammation, and eventually fibrosis. Our approach here is to protect the mitochondrion, which is in the early stage of the disease, through regulating the input of pyruvate into the mitochondria.
And so this is a really large patient population. Are there ways to segment that and to have a precision approach?
Well, so you're right, it's very large. 16 million Americans or so suffer from NASH. There are no approved therapeutics. But there are some interesting differences in patients. For example, 60 to 80% of the patients who have NASH are diabetic or pre-diabetic. That means, 40 to 20% are not diabetic. What we're trying to do is we're running a rather large clinical study. It's the largest phase 2 study that we know of in NASH. And we're looking at both diabetics, pre-diabetics, and non-diabetics, all of whom have different liver fibrosis scores, F1s to F3. So they'll have different levels of fibrosis in their liver. So our study is going to give us a rich data set which we can analyze and look at different, maybe cut the data differently, understand how different patients respond to our therapeutic.
And how is enrollment coming along in that study?
So right now we're very pleased with how our enrollment is going. We expect that in the first half of this year, 2018, we'll have completed enrollment of the study. Following that, 6 months later, we are going to do an interim analysis of some exploratory data sets, primarily liver function, liver health. We'll look at some wet biomarkers of fibrosis, as well as glycemic control. Glycemic control being a hallmark of patients with diabetes, as well as looking at safety over the three doses we're studying in our clinical study. And then following that, we'll have the typical liver biopsy at the completion of the study, 12 months, which will give us the classic NASH endpoints that we're studying.
What is your current financing situation?
So we recently, in 2017, completed a $40 million raise that was co-led by Novo AS and Fraser Life Sciences. And that has set us up perfectly to enable to complete this clinical study, which will target, at least at entry, 380 subjects.
And when will you be planning to seek additional financing after that?
So, as any true biotech executive, I'm always looking for new financing, additional money. But I think it's safe to say somewhere tied into between our interim analysis and our final analysis is likely an ideal time to consider additional financing, to continue along the pathway here. The next step for us, should we be successful, will be phase 3 clinical studies.
What kind of a partner are you looking for?
So right now, I think we're not overly actively looking for strategic partners, although we'll talk to interested parties. NASH is a very large, with 16 million Americans alone suffering from the disease, a very large area of unmet medical need. And I believe it should be interesting to many big pharma players, as evidenced by those who are currently pursuing their own clinical development in the space. For us, we would be looking for an ideal partner, perhaps to help us geographically with expansion of the opportunity of this drug, but also perhaps even in the US.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.